Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about PTE speaking repeat sentence and I'll be training you how to attain perfect scores in this question. So let us first have a close look over what number of questions will be there in the test and what is going to be the sequence of this question. So this question will be on the second number of your speaking, having 10 to 12 number of the questions. However, I speak and I say this repeat sentence is going to be the queen of your PTE. Reason being, it is contributing around 54 bands in total to your speaking test. And out of 10 to 12 bands, this 10 to 12 questions, your bands are contributed on speaking around 30 and 25 to 20 bands on your listening. So we have to keep this thing in mind that whenever we are performing, we are making sure that our repeat sentences are going well. So of course, speaking manners are important. You need to remember where you have to keep your microphone, either on the nose tip or it should be below the chin. You should not whisper or you're not going to scream. You're just talking person sitting in front of you. You should not give a lot of gap once the recorder starts the recording. You have to start speaking your answer, because if you give a gap of 3 seconds, the microphone will shut off and nothing will be recorded. Your voice quality should be quite dense in a way that you get a good and strong graph that will mark you on your pronunciation. So the task description says, after listening to the recording of a sentence, you have to repeat the sentence within 3 seconds of the time. So the skills assessed will be listening and speaking. Of course, you're listening to a sentence, so you get bands on listening, and you're repeating the sentence. Of course, you'll get band on your speaking. So the sub skills that are being marked are your oral fluency, pronunciation, and content. So the question can be 3 to 9 seconds long. You have 10 seconds to answer. Of course, the number of items will be 10 to 12 for this particular question. The content will be of 3 bands. Oral fluency and pronunciations are marked out of it. So you have to make sure that you're good in your fluency and your pronunciation. So fluency means you should speak your answer as fast as you can, but clear. You should not give a gap after comma or full stop. Avoid any hesitation. Skip the words that are new or you couldn't understand while you listen. And avoid natural fillers like they're not good and they won't be marked as a positive thing. So for pronunciation, you have to follow the basic English protocols. There should be a variation in tone of your speech, and you have to avoid monotonous answers. Stress on the words that are in the beginning of a sentence or after comma, and end a sentence with a different tune. So these are the things. I said all of them the way they should be. Now the scoring thing says you get bands on your content, fluency, and pronunciation. So content means the number of correct word sequences are counted. Having almost nothing from the prompt in your response will give you no bands on your listening, but definitely you will get something on your speaking. So for fluency, you have to have a constant and natural rate of speech with appropriate phrasing. That simply means if you started your read aloud quite fast, you have to make sure your read alouds have the same speed, because if you slow down on your repeat sentences, computer will notice this change in speed and might mark you less on your fluency. Hesitations, repetitions, and false starts will negatively affect your score, so be careful. Pronunciation, you produce speech sounds in a similar way to most regular speakers of the language. This is what your screen looks like. This is the question, and this is where you will start recording your answer. So the status recording says you have to start speaking. You won't hear the sentence more than one time, so you have to listen it only one time. So be careful, and you don't hear a beep as well. So start speaking the moment you observe this thing recording on your screen instead of saying beginning. So let us see what are the 3 stages of your repeat sentence. First thing will be you will have 3 seconds before the speaker starts. So then second stage is you have to listen to the sentence. Third stage is there is a gap of 2 seconds. After that, there will be a status that says recording. Now repeat your answer. You have 10 seconds to repeat it. And then definitely there is a 5th stage that says click next. You can approach this question from 3 different types, like with 3 different strategies. First is phrase approach, where you can divide the content into phrases. So no examples, like the question is no more than 4 people can be in the lab at once. So I have divided my question into 3 phrases. So it's like no more than 4 people can be in the lab when at once. So you can divide your phrases into 3 parts and you can remember it and you can repeat it. Then you have blind approach. Close your eyes, listen carefully and speak. So this is how you do your blind approach. Listen to the sentence and just repeat it back. For note taking, you can take notes of every word that you have, that the person has said, with just putting the initials of each word. Okay, so this you can always mix up your approaches. If you want to phrase and mix your note taking approach, you can mix that. If you want to mix your phrase and blind approach, you can mix that. If you want to mix your note taking and blind approach, that's perfect as well. Every person is different and every individual have their own way of understanding and learning things. So I would recommend try whatever suits you best and go for it. So let us see what are the tips and strategies. So there are 3 different scenarios. The first is the best scenario, where you got the whole or 80% of the sentence right. You can repeat it confidently. The second stage is where you have 50% of the answer right. So that is, you've got half of the sentence right. You can always say, if it is the first half, you can say first half of the sentence plus, you can say and, something like that. If it is the second half that you have got, you can say the sentence was related to plus the second half of the sentence. The worst scenario is where you have just 25% of the sentence or maybe less than that. You can always repeat this thing that says the sentence was related to plus, say all of the nouns together. So I will definitely demonstrate all these strategies for you now. So let us practice these questions from here. So the first stage is you've got everything.
When the demand for the course rose, university authorities took on additional academic staff.
When the demand on the course rose, university faculty took additional courses for the staff. So this is something that I got, but let's say I got 50% first.
When the demand for the course rose, university...
So I got first 50% when the demand for the course rose and something like that. Or maybe if I got the half of the 50%, that is at the end.
Authorities took on additional academic staff.
So you can say the sentence was related to taking academic staff. Or you can say taking additional academic staff. But if you just got 25%.
When the demand for the course rose, university authorities took on additional academic staff.
The sentence was related to demand academic staff. So you can say whatever you remember, but do say it because it matters. And with this, we are done for today. Thank you so much. If you have further questions, you can always contact